Hello, my name is Daniel Scuria-Herman, and today I'll be speaking on the topic of MrBeast. Now, I myself, I might as well live under a rock. I am exposed to very few things, not on social media, really, unless you count this. Oh yeah, I forgot to preface, unless I did, this video, no new information whatsoever. If you came here looking for new information, if you're caught up fully, then this isn't the video for you. This is me finding out a bunch of stuff and just saying my true heartfelt thoughts. Alright, thanks. So when I heard that there was controversy about the biggest YouTuber on the platform, I was reasonably, I guess, doubtful of the legitimacy of it. And the reason why I found it is randomly I started getting all these like MrBeast shorts from the channel Income Infinity in my notifications. I started getting like, oh, MrBeast is like a master at this area, or like he's so smart. And then I'd look at the comments and it would all be weird stuff like, oh, you know, he's not acknowledging the allegations, or like, oh, this is what happens when he commits fraud. And it's like, what? What allegations? When was any of this happening? To my knowledge, a lot of this happened on Twitter. I have no idea, still, what's going on with all the fraud and stuff. But I thought that I should cover this just because in the past I have made videos on MrBeast. In fact, there was a third video. I made 2 reaction videos to his philanthropy videos. There was a third video that I had made already to another one of his philanthropy videos. I think maybe it was one on the main channel, I forget. But did a full reaction. The thing didn't record properly and didn't provide much commentary, so it wasn't a loss. Instead, I just uploaded another Aesop Rock reaction, which, you know, of course. But there had been another one. I wouldn't anyway, but I physically can't go back retroactively and say like, oh yeah, I knew this all along and I just, you know, oh, I knew that he was a bad person. I knew that he was faking all this stuff. The problem is, I don't know if this is actually a problem, but I still stand by what I said. Not in the way that I'm denying anything that's going on right now, but with the information I had at the time, I don't think there was a problem in what I said. Now, you're asking, what did I say? I went a little bit crazy with my praise of the man. I would go on rambles on how generous this man is, how kind he was, how thoughtful, how he was doing more for foreign countries more than governments. And I kept talking about that. And I kept saying like, how could anyone hate this man? He's doing so much good for the community, and he's, you know, making content about putting work back in. On and off, I've been following MrBeast for probably years at this point. If you've been on this platform, you've probably watched at least one of his videos. And a few years ago, he had on his team a man named Jake Weddle. And Jake Weddle was probably my favorite member on his cast or crew or whatever. It was just because I liked his style of comedy. It was very different from the rest of it. He's his own stand-up comic now. Or well, he was then too, but like he still is around in the space. He just doesn't work with MrBeast anymore. I started noticing that he wasn't in MrBeast videos anymore. So I started researching this thing and I saw that like, oh, you know, Jake the Viking left, all these other people left, and Jake Weddle left the MrBeast company, and he made a whole video, a video that kind of like blew up for him, why I left MrBeast, and it was sort of like really something ambiguous where he's like, I just want to do my own thing, and he did a whole skit with like a cop on like a bouncy ball and stuff, and I was like, cool, this seems fun, I'll subscribe. So I just checked in, you know, watched a bunch of videos, and for like the next year, Jake Weddle was reasonably consistently uploading. And then for some reason, he kind of just trailed off and stopped uploading. And I don't know if this is just something that I've inserted into my memory and didn't actually happen, but I recall at one point there was this time where I saw like a short or a TikTok of him where he was saying like, oh, I was in a MrBeast video and they couldn't even air it, and I won like a bunch of money, and I can't say what it was from. And I was like, huh, that's weird. And there was another time where he was in a MrBeast video that got published, and he was talking about that, and he was saying like, I know I went back on my word, I'm sorry, I just needed the money. And that was the prison video. And I recognized him in that, and I was like, huh, I thought he wasn't on the cast anymore. And then after a while, Jake Weddle stopped being in MrBeast videos altogether. And then he started like uploading again recently, very recently, like over the summer, he started uploading again. And yeah, it was like really cool to see him back. He seemed like, you know, he's been through some stuff, but glad to see him back. Here's the thing. I'm not on Twitter. A lot of this happened on Twitter. I have very little information on that on account of that. So there was this one creator, Dogpack404. Anyone in the comments will know far more than I do. This is a common running theme on this channel. You guys are genuinely smarter than I am. When I've made videos on creators in the past, okay, this is a tangent. When I made videos on creators in the past, it's been creators that I like. Like when I made the video on Boom Gonza or the video on Sam Al-Khatib. They've been creators that I actually like wanted to have a highlight on. The video on Boom Gonza wasn't actually really on Boom Gonza. It was about YouTube channels getting hacked, but it was with the context of Boom Gonza getting banned for his channel getting hacked. In that video, this is a wild chain of events. In that video, I showed a short of Ludwig, the famous YouTube streamer, Ludwig saying to Boom Gonza on stream, like this whole thing about like, you are the king of YouTube shorts. And that was this whole thing. You might be unaware of the newer YouTuber, Boom Gonza. Now, he does a lot of YouTube shorts. And in fact, in one short, he was referred to as Ludwig, Ludwig Ogren, one of the big YouTube streamers, as the king of YouTube shorts.
Watch, this is Ludwig, the 2022 Streamer of the Year, and that's me in his chat claiming to be the king of YouTube Shorts. Watch how he reacted.
King of YouTube Shorts is here. I'd like to speak on behalf of the shorts. I'm sorry, are you calling yourself the king of YouTube Shorts?
And he got the approval of Ludwig. And that was the whole thing. And I was like, wow, Ludwig is a cool guy. Then Ludwig happened to be in a MrBeast video recently, where him and a bunch of other YouTubers, I actually found this out because I was watching Lily Pichu's channel, but him and a bunch of other YouTubers were in a big MrBeast video, and he won some money from that. And I watched that, very cool. He dressed up in a suit for it. It was a funny video. I recommend you check it out.
Look, what's that meme? It's like the meme where it's Ludwig showing up to his family reunion, and then it's Ludwig showing up to react to MrBeast video. I feel big right now, baby.
And I was like, cool, I want to see his other MrBeast reactions after watching that video. So I went down a rabbit hole, and then I came across a stream of like where it was titled MrBeast Controversy or something. And I was like, huh, he's in controversy again? Because I knew he'd been in controversy in the past. Like when he cured blindness, people were like, oh, he didn't do enough. And I thought it was something like that. And then it went to this whole video by Dogpack404 about fraud and all that stuff and illegal lotteries. And I watched that video. And I say I don't understand it because that video was kind of like, I don't really see the problem with that because it feels like it's on a technicality. And it feels like not that big of a deal to me. And Ludwig really shared that kind of sentiment for most of it. And then he sort of just stopped talking near the end. And I was sort of like, huh. It's weird that he stopped commenting on this video. That's odd. And then I thought nothing of it. Then a video came up in one of his other channels, Mogul Mail. I don't usually watch Mogul Mail. I've only seen a few videos of him, but on that channel. But there was a video like, I was wrong about MrBeast. I was like, how were you? I thought I agreed with you. Apparently, there was another video that had been uploaded by Dogpack404 on Jake Weddle. And I was like, what? I thought Jake Weddle, you know, his relationship with MrBeast was good. I thought that anything there was like, you know, it was ended mutually and it was all fine and they respected each other. And I started looking into it, and because he was getting heat for not like taking it seriously enough, which although he was. And I looked into it. I went to Jake Weddle's channel. There were like 3 videos I hadn't seen. There was one on Ava Chris Tyson. There was one about that Why I Left MrBeast video, but like an extended version. There was one about him versus Jake the Viking. And I was completely confused on everything that was happening. I was like, what did I miss? It feels like I am just so out of loop with this. And I started watching it, and MrBeast, and I'm not exaggerating this, tortured Jake Weddle for a video.
It was brutal. And you called me from there, and I mean, you sounded like you had, you did not sound like yourself, and you were talking about how your feet were bloody and blistered and you could barely walk. I think it was days before you could actually walk like a human, and you were psychologically struggling.
And there was one point where he said like, oh, we kind of just broke Geneva Conventions. And at that point, it's not a situation where you could say, oh, well, his good outweighs the bad. He genuinely made someone's life worse. And Jake Weddle wasn't the same after that. And that was that like upload break, or I'm theorizing, that was that upload break that I was talking about. And it's just, it's awful. I only watched like some clips of it. I couldn't watch the full Dogpack404 video. I watched Jake Weddle's coverage of it, where apparently he like Jake the Viking was responsible partly for breaking a guy's ankle. All this stuff that went wrong. They hired like some people that shouldn't be around children for a children's entertainment channel. A bunch of stuff like that. And all of this coming out. So then I was like, okay, yeah, he tortured people, he made a lot of bad choices, but he still did good in the world. At the end of the day, wasn't he still philanthropic? Then I looked into it, and he polluted some beaches. There was a bunch of stuff where like he was abusing the people who he gave homes to. He, for content and just like sort of manipulating them. A bunch of stuff like that was coming out. And I was just looking into this, and I was thinking, and there was this one point that was really stuck out to me in the Jake Weddle video, where he said that MrBeast said to him, after he won the money from like the contest that he was tortured in, and it was like a third of the money he was promised, and he heard MrBeast saying to someone else, what's the problem? That's more money than he'll ever see in his life. And that line told me pretty much everything I need to know about MrBeast as a person. Because that kind of disrespect for people less fortunate than you really, in my mind, undoes any philanthropic stuff that he may have done. And I don't even believe he did that anymore, because there's so much proof against it. There's so much proof that he's undoing it. I think the idea of MrBeast is good. I think the idea of someone who dedicates their lives and their careers to philanthropy, I think that's good. I think on that MrBeast philanthropy channel, Darren is good because he was already founded in these like, philanthropic organizations and stuff before working with MrBeast. I think the MrBeast philanthropy channel should still exist. I think Darren should run it on his own, and it should keep going and should keep raising money for philanthropy. I think that should stay. I think it should lose the MrBeast branding. I think it should be his own separate thing, make it Darren's channel, Darren Philanthropy. At this point, I don't think MrBeast should have a platform. I also noticed in my notifications, one of MrBeast's shorts popped up. I looked at the newest comments, and they all looked to be exactly the same, and there was no mention of any allegations or fraud or torture or anything. There are only allegations of videos about MrBeast uploaded by other creators like Income Infinity. I think MrBeast is going to try to push this under the rug. I was willing to, sort of see his side of this. I was willing, because I have offered so much praise for him in the past because of all the good deeds that I thought he did. Now, knowing that he might not have even done those, I really just can't support him in any way. I think that genuinely, and I don't really want to, I'm not overstating this. I think he's a bad person. And I think that the only reason he ever did philanthropy is just for attention. I don't think he ever did it out of the kindness of his heart or for the, well-being of others. I think he only did it because it made him successful. And all he cares about is attention. He doesn't care about getting the money. He just cares about getting the attention. Which I think is fine. Whatever your opinion on it is. But in doing so, he's tortured Jake Weddle. And of course, there's this whole thing going around where defamation, cease and desist. So everything here, alleged, anything true is true, anything that's not true is opinion. That's not gonna save me in court. But I didn't sign anything because I don't know the guy. I've never worked for him. I wish he was a better person because someone like him should be out there. And there just isn't. I mean, there could be, but right now the biggest YouTuber is a bad person. And I think I myself and others are coming to realize that now through all of this coming out. And a lot of people, I've seen a lot of hate towards Jake Weddle. I've seen a lot of hate towards Ludwig for his sort of he wasn't immediately jumping on the bandwagon of hate. I've seen a bunch of stuff like that going on. And I think a lot of that is misdirected. I think all of that should go to MrBeast and the people behind the scenes who are just as bad as him. Obviously, there are people on the crew that are good people and are trying to do what's best, but there's also people who are just like MrBeast whose faces just aren't on camera. Look, I hope for a reality in which MrBeast can be good. I don't think MrBeast can be good. I think someone like who MrBeast presents himself as could be good, but there is no such person in the reality we currently live in, at least at his size. I think we should look for someone like that and try to make them famous, and hopefully it doesn't go to their head. Because I believe in a world where we can have good things, where we can have kind people. And I also believe in a world where kind people can be abused by bad people. Right now we're seeing the latter half of that. And I just hope for a world of which we could see the first half more. But yeah, it's sad. It's messed up what's going on right now. And I hope that justice can be brought to the people who've been wronged. And I hope that we can find good in the world. As for me, as for what I've said in the past in defense of MrBeast, here's the thing that doesn't really make sense. I don't take it back, just because at the time, I thought he was a different person than he was. I don't take any of it back. And if this turns out to be true, then I don't take any of this back, because this is my opinion based on what I know. And I still agree with myself, even if this turns out to be wrong, because this is what I knew at the time. Even if this is factually incorrect. I don't know if that makes sense to most people, but essentially, I want her to be held accountable if he needs to be held accountable. And if he doesn't, then I want the truth to come out, And yeah, I don't retract anything. I'm not going to take down those videos I made of MrBeast because I mean everything about philanthropic people like him. I mean that towards them. I mean that towards a philanthropic person. And what I knew about him at the time, I meant at the time. And I hope Darren comes out of this okay. I hope he still has a platform. so that he can actually help people. Unless, of course, Darren also comes out to be complicit and some stuff gets brought up about him. In that case, well, I hope someone else gets the chance. But anyway, let me know what you think about the situation in the comments. I ask that you keep an open mind. I'm gonna link Jake Weddle's channel and a few other things in the description and at the end of this video. Check him out, show him some love. He deserves it after everything he's been through. But anyway, that's all from me. So until next time, adieu.